Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John, otherwise known as Megahertz. Today I'm going to be showing off my player controller that I've been working on for the last several weeks. I set this up from scratch, and if you're interested, I'll show you exactly how to set this up. If you're interested in using something like this in your future games. This is been a work in progress, but there's lots of things that he can do. This little player controller. He can walk, he can run, he can jump, he can double jump, he can wall slide, he can wall slide and jump, he can wall slide and just go down. So he's got a wall jump. Let's see what else. He has a dash ability, and I have a special particle effect set up for that. It's actually not even a particle effect for that. So there's 3 different kinds of particle effects that I have set up. So there's the running particle effect that turns it on and off depending on whether or not he's moving. There's a ground animation that actually happens. And then there's the dash animation where not only it hits the little shock wave, but if you notice, his player, that little dash ghost that I have set up, it's actually instantiating objects, and it is copying the sprite in that location, and then it fades away actually really quickly, but you can set that slower if you like. He has a combat mode where he can draw his weapon and sheath it. He has, let's see, in the combat, he has 3 different combos, 3 different attacks in a combo system for the ground. So 1, 2, 3. If you don't hit the second button fast enough, it will reset it back to 1. So 1, 1, or 1, 2, 3. Very same thing is for the air. 1, 2, 3. So it's a different animation set up for the air. Whenever he hits the ground, it actually hits a lot of enemies all at once. So it's kind of like a ground slam, which is pretty cool. I have basically a very simple enemy AI set up. Let me go the other way because I like that. Oh, one more thing. He can't get through this area as he's just walking, but he does have a crouch where he can get through. And you missed me, punk. He also has a slide where he can get through that. So let me go actually the other way. I'm gonna wall jump up here. I had torches set up with a flickering effect on that, darkness set up. So let's 1, 2, 3, come down. Not only does can he attack the enemy can attack him back. And I have it set up to where he actually has 8 points of health, just because that was the UI that I had set up. You don't have to give him that much health, but you know, I went ahead and set up the little UI screen to where it works that way. Whenever he runs out of health, it goes to game over. You can restart the level, or you can quit. That does actually work. I just have a debug log set up to where it says quit game. He can restart. He can pause the game. And whenever he pauses, it freezes time. I actually don't have a settings panel set up, but you know, just showed the button does do something. It says settings open. I just put a debug log there. Same for quit, but you can resume. I actually have set up in the player controller using things like gizmos to where you can get a better idea where the melee is hitting. You not only can get attacked, you can attack the enemy and kill the enemy, and whenever it's dead, it kind of goes away. So basically what I'm going to be doing is showing exactly how I got this set up. There is going to be a little bit to this, but if you're interested, just follow the videos in the future. For now, I'm just going to go through a quick tutorial on how to set up Unity with Bolt, something I've done before, but if you want to follow along in this, I'm going to use this as a reference point. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to set up a new Unity project. So open your Unity hub and go to New, and go to 2D, and let's just name this Player Controller. You're welcome to use this as a reference later on if you like. There's my beautiful wife. But should be opening it up, and whenever it is done, we should be ready to roll. All right, once your project is open, it should look something like this. It actually might look like that by default, and you can drag these windows in a certain way, just kind of get them set up the way that you like. Personally, I have my own little way that I have it set up. I like it like this, and we're going to need to install Bolt, so let's go ahead and do that. Go to Window, Package Manager. Just a quick note, if you're using Unity 2020.1 and above, I believe this is something that you can no longer do. Now, I don't know why they did that. It was so nice just to be able to search something in this, but you actually have to go online and do it this way now. So I've just got my Mozilla Firefox open, and I'm at the Unity Asset Store, and so you just type in Bolt, and it should bring you to a page. It looks like this. Just go to Bolt Visual Scripting and add that to your asset. So you're gonna have to log in, make a profile. Hopefully you've already done that. If you haven't, then you're going to need to do that. Just when you click here, create a Unity account or sign in. Add it to your assets, and then you should be able to download that in your Unity game. So now it should be in this location of Windows, Package Manager, and as you come into Package Manager, go to My Assets right here, and you should see Bolt, and you're going to download that. Once it's done downloading, then you can import it into your game. Once it is done downloading, you're going to go to Tools and Install Bolt, and it will ask you import Bolt for .NET 4X, and so you just go ahead and import that, and just go ahead and import everything. Okay, and once that's done installing, you should see this screen right here. Just go ahead and click Next. I use human naming. Of course, if you're a programmer, you can do that if you like. And then you're going to hit Next here as well, and then hit Generate. And this is going to generate the Bolt unit options so that you can make graphs and do that visual scripting. When that's done, just go ahead and close. There are a couple more things that you're going to need. Go to Windows, Package Manager, excuse me, and under Unity Registry, you should have that if it's 2020, Unity 2020 or above. And down here, we're going to install Cinemachine. So go ahead and install that, download and install that if you haven't already done that. And there is one more that we'll get to as soon as that's finished installing. Okay, once that's done installing, I would highly recommend, you don't have to do this, but I think it is something that's going to give your video a little bit, or your games a little bit more appeal, that make them look nicer, is do a universal render pipeline. That's going to give you the ability to install and instantiate lights in your game. Okay, as far as the universal render pipeline goes, we will set that up whenever we actually need it. It's just kind of installing it right now. There is actually one more thing that we need to do. If you will go to Tools, Bolt, Unit Options Wizard, we're going to need to add in Cinemachine here, Cinemachine, and the other thing we're going to need to add is that universal render pipeline. So just type in render. You're going to have to add all of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 different ones. Just go ahead and type in render each time, and just add the second one and the third one, and so on and so forth until you get them all put in. Okay, and once you get all that done, just go ahead and go to Next, and we're going to generate a new list. This makes it possible to where you can actually pull these objects into your graphs. Okay, once you have all that installed, highly recommend doing this next step, and that's just setting up your windows. If you go to, if yours doesn't look like this, if you go to Window and Graph, you should have a little graph window that comes up, and I just put mine right here. So I like these three things being here: Graph, Animator, and Animation. The next one's Graph Inspector, which I just kind of pulled that to the side right here, and Variables. Once you get all that set up the way that you want it set up, let's go ahead and talk about the different kinds of animations and sprites and things that I used. For my sprites, my main character sprite, I just went to itch.io. These are all free. All the things that I'm about to show you are free unless stated otherwise. This is pretty good. There are tons and tons and tons of different animations. So whoever set this up, man, I want to kiss your face, because this is awesome. Asset, Again, this is free. Everybody uses this, so that's kind of the direction that I went. This is where I got it. I put a link in the description for each of these things. I went to the asset store and got my skeleton monster there. You can use any kind of enemy that you want. Again, this is for the player controller, not necessarily the enemy AI, but I needed that setup to show that it actually worked. As far as setting up the level, there's a platformer set that I got from the asset store, and this is kind of what you can do with it. If you're interested in setting up a level, I'm not really going to be going into that. There's plenty of tutorials. This is the one I would highly recommend. This guy's not, I mean, he's got more subscribers than I do, but he's not really well known. But I followed this guy's video. It's great. I'll put a link in the description for you. Several videos setting up his player platform controller and his level. I just kind of followed that. The animated torch. This is kind of where I got that from. This is the font that I use, the Minecrafter font from DaFont. These next things do cost money, but it's something I would recommend that you think about if you're going to go into game development. You don't have to do any of this right now. You won't need any of these things for the tutorials that I'm going to be putting out, but if you're interested, this is kind of the things that I'd highly recommend. First one is a sprite from Steam. If you want to kind of adjust some of these player controllers or the animations from this animated pixel adventure, then he gives you the A-Sprite file, which is awesome. This is, right now it's 20 bucks. If you wait, it can go on sale. I think I actually snagged it for like $8 one day. So they do have sales on this. This is a wonderful program. It's not that expensive. It gives you basically the frame-by-frame construction of setting things up. Like I said, this is wonderful. This is an awesome resource. I also have Spine 2D. And my wife almost killed me over this because this one is kind of pricey. I'm not gonna lie to you, this one is expensive, especially if you go for the pro version, which I did. So you can do the essential for 79 or for 70 bucks, or the professional for 300 bucks. If you get the essential and later on you want the professional version, they will discount the difference. So I actually did that. I have that set up, and whenever that works with Unity 2020, I'm gonna be doing videos on how to do that. The next one is craftpix.net. This is awesome. I mean, there's just all kinds of different resources. You can get this and snag this for 30 bucks for the year. So again, I would really, really recommend that you do this. There's just so much stuff in here. I didn't use any of it, but you know, just as my recommendation, I really like that. Of course, the next one is Photoshop and Illustrator. And you might like this, you might not. You don't necessarily need this. You can just use other people's stuff. Personally, I like Illustrator better than Photoshop, but they are both useful. These are extremely pricey though, so how committed are you? If you are students, you know, maybe you go to school, you might already have a subscription to this. It's 20 bucks a month. You have to prove that you're a student. No, I'm not a student right now, so mine's a little bit pricey, but these are all different things that I recommend that you think about that are very, very helpful for making video games. Just thought I'd throw that in there. If you're interested in following along, you aren't gonna need anything that's gonna cost you money, but again, it's just something to think about. In making this controller, the greatest frustration I have faced so far is that there are tons of videos on C# and almost next to nothing on Bolt visual scripting. And so naturally, the greatest challenge I've had is discovering how to convert something from C# to flow and state graphs in Bolt. I want to throw in a quick disclaimer about my future videos. It would be wrong for me to accept full credit for anything I'm posting online as if I came up with these things from thin air. Although I've had to struggle to find many of the problems I've faced in this build, the truth is I watched many tutorial videos on YouTube, which has given me a good foundation for building this player controller from scratch. So if you're seeing something for the first time in one of my videos, chances are I got it from somewhere else. In order to give credit where credit is due, I wanted to share just a quick list with you of, and this is not extensive necessarily, but these are YouTube video contributors that I've watched. I would strongly encourage checking out these contributors. They have helped me so much just in establishing a sturdy foundation. Just in C#, you know, you got Brackeys and Thomas Brush, Outrage Games, Blackthorn Prod, Game Maker's Toolkit. It's not necessarily a C# scripting tutorial as much as it is what makes a good video game. Really find that very helpful. Code Monkey, That is heavy code, C# coding. Used a lot of things that he's done and tried to convert them into Bolt. Josh Codes, again, that Tilevania tutorial that I linked earlier. Jonas Trioler, I'm assuming I'm saying that. Alexander Zoltov. As far as Bolt, yes, there is very limited on what we have access to, but thanks to these great contributors, I was able to really just try to figure out how to do this controller from scratch. Now, if you haven't done so yet, I would also highly encourage you to go through the complete 4.5-hour course on Bolt Visual Scripting, the 2D platform tutorial. I've actually posted an entire series that works through all the errors that I encountered going through this work. Where this video isn't so much of a tutorial as much as it's an overview of what I've been up to, I wanted to make this video to kind of serve as a baseline that I plan on referring back to in the videos to come. So hopefully you're set up, you're ready to go, you're ready to start making this controller, and I will be posting the next video very, very soon.